in biometric data management. The Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Wetangula, has defended President William Ruto's remarks towards individuals who will be found guilty of misusing public property. Wetangula says that the statement doesn't mean that anyone will be killed, but is instead meant to ensure public property is protected. He also criticized the opposition leaders for misinterpreting the president's remarks.
Lakini la muhimu is not to focus on the figurative speech. In speech making, we have what we call imagery speeches, figurative speeches, allegories, and we also have parables. Yala alisema wale wana masikio wamesikia, wale wana akili wameelewa. Lakini tumeona wale wapinzani ambao wanapenda kupinga kila kitu. Hiyo wamerukia pia. Anybody who defends the corrupt is an enemy of the people of Kenya. Na tunataka pesa yote ya ushuru wenu irudi hapa ijenge hii shule yetu, ijenge barabara, itengeneze maji.
A county legislator has petitioned lawmakers to set academic qualifications for speakers of county assemblies, the Senate and the National Assembly. Simon Leguya, member of Narok County Assembly, wants the minimum qualifications for the positions enshrined in law. In his petition, Mr. Lengui stresses the importance of knowledge and competence in the role of a speaker. He says holders of these positions must have a deep understanding of the law, governance and various matters of national and regional importance in order to make informed decisions and rulings. And it's a sad morning for the teachers fraternity after Kenya National Union of Teachers first Vice National Chairman Stanley Mutai has died. NAT Secretary General Colin Soyu says Mutai died at a Nairobi hospital while receiving treatment. He adds that Mutai had been diagnosed with cancer a few months ago. He has eulogized him as a mentor and great patron. And in the international scene, an independent inquiry has found no evidence that South Africa supplied weapons to Russia. President Cyril Ramaphosa says the panel rejected claims made by the US ambassador to South Africa that a Russian ship was loaded with ammunition and arms in Cape Town last December. The allegations had raised questions over the country's professed neutrality in the war with Ukraine. Mr. Ramaphosa said it had damaged the nation's currency and reputation. That's the Newswire. I'm Leah Ubaga.
.5 Spice FM, Kisumu. This is the Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard...
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on Spice FM.
Good morning, and I love your show.
Thank you.
Having come from a Kikuyu radio background, I migrated to Spice because of the content.
I was born in a slum, but somehow I got a break in life. So sometimes when you see the sweating coming out because of the passion and whatever it is, behind the noise, there are people, and we share the same umbilical cord.
It shouldn't be like that. I am so disappointed. We used to tell Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga that he's doing politics of conmanship, and even President Uhuru Kenyatta, serikali hii ndio iko na conmanship ya hali ya juu. You cannot promise people that you reduce tax, then you double.
In politics, there is the issue of trust. For you to turn around and then stab the same people who gave you that trust, there is no other level of dishonesty. And
if you go out of this country and come back the same person, then you have a problem. Buy land, 1 million. Put it there for 5 years. What's the purpose?
It'll have increased in value.
No, that's the thing. That's darkness. You know, that's an eclipse. You don't do that.
I hope you don't believe that a hustler is a poor person, or that all hustlers are poor. I've seen that conversation.
Who is a hustler?
Who's a hustler? Hustler is a person who is making a living through hard work.
Corruption in Kenya is a political accusation. The people who are actually corrupt are not pointed fingers at.
Kenya is not free. Kenya imeshikwa na mateka. It's under siege.
Have you seen that lodge on Nyeri Road? Very high fence. You can't even
Windows
sleep inside.
Up near the ceiling.
Yes. And if you walk there at midnight, you see bats the size of cows.
And when it rains, it doesn't rain on that building.
Yes.
When you're at All Saints and it's raining, it doesn't rain on that building.
The things people will believe.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Revenge is for children. It's for kids. When you grow up, you realize the best revenge you can take on somebody is to ignore them.
I'm just new in politics. It is not everybody's cup of tea. That's why some people come in one term and that's it for them.
Political parties in this country do not have ideologies, whether luring or otherwise.
And that is the effect of corruption.
Any time an offense occurs anywhere in the country, it is the job of the Inspector General to look into it. Whether it's corruption, whether it's murder, whether it's betting, that is his job.
If we have chosen to be a corrupt nation, then we produce corrupt leaders. Everything then becomes chaotic that you cannot be able to change a nation.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Good morning. Welcome to Monday. It looks like we're going to have a slow start to the morning in terms of traffic. Not much happening wherever it is that you are, into the second week of school having opened after the holidays, and a little bit of traffic left and right on the Eastern Bypass, where we have a little bit of movement coming off of Magadi Road and then going towards Langata Road, is probably where there will be some movement as well. All right, if you're coming off of Mombasa Road, heading out towards the Nyeri Stadium roundabout, you'll be all right. Coming off of Thika Superhighway, that's just starting to build up right around Pangani. But before that, not much. We're going to circle back at about 6:30 and see what it looks like then. But in the meantime, talk to us on Spice FM KE on X.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Okoh, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latiff, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Welcome to a new week. This is the 4th day of September, 2023. C.T. Muga.
Yes, Eric Latiff.
Muga. Wewe ndio huyu hapa.
Mimi ndio sisi.
Mzima mzima.
3 of you are here.
Yes.
While you were away, 3 things continued happening.
Yes, I heard about it. Yes.
Mambo ni ngapi?
Mambo inaweza kuwa matatu. Iwe hii, isipokuwa hiyo, inaweza kuwa hii. Na kikosa kwa hiyo,
basi
lazima itakuwa ni hii. Hili lingine.
Hili?
Yes.
Basi. So how was your week?
My week was quiet. Very quiet. Walking. Resting. Yes. My blood pressure was doing a thing. And usually the blood pressure doesn't do a thing unless there's a thing. So I had to understand what that thing was, come to terms with the thing, talk to those who have studied these things and understand it better. So, Chief, if I may quote them specifically, don't be stupid, take a break. This thing has to come down.
The thing?
It is not in your interest for it to continue doing what it's doing.
So the diagnosis here is stupidity.
Stupidity, is it?
You were suffering from a bout of stupidity. Have you been cured?
That's something that it's one of these incurable diseases.
All you need to do is take action.
Yes, essentially, but it is stupidity, essentially, because if you have an uncommunicable disease like you're hypertensive, you ought to read about it and understand how exactly it functions. So if you then find that it is behaving in a manner that is not normal, there's a reason. So find out what that reason is. Yes. And you know what the reason is? Essentially, you're being told, Chief, for this period of time until this thing normalizes, just slow down.
Yeah. Relax.
Slow down, yes.
Don't stop doing those things that you're doing. You're waking up, you at what times, you running where and where, you what.
In fact, I was told specifically, the company you keep in the studio not good for you.
Really?
That's what you're told to do.
No.
I agree with that.
Specify which company.
Because the ones I'm with in the studio now are okay. But the other ones, they're the ones I should watch out for.
Really?
Yeah, I'm telling you.
You're telling me?
Yeah. And tulikuwa tunakuona hapa. You come and we think that we're just the only ones here with you. But we can tell.
That wewe umekuja na wengine.
Hauko peke yako.
Umekuja na wengine.
Yeah.
Sasa hao ndio nimewambia sasa fanya hivi baba. Wale ambao mnaongea nao ni sawa. Wale wengine ambao unapenda kubeba
wachana nao.
Ambao unasema wesh.
Sasa wao
wachana.
Wamewachwa.
Wachana.
Na wameambiwa wakae huko tu.
Very good.
Na wasirudi kamwe.
Very good. Yes. It's good to have you back.
Na nyinyi mnaendeleaje?
Sisi tuko sawa.
You all well?
Yes, we are.
Yes.
As you can see, Ndu is very, very well. Last week she had a kikoi. Yeah.
I did.
You had a kikoi?
I had a kikoi.
She had a kikoi.
The kikoi is now gone.
It was headgear.
Headgear?
Akamwa kunywa, my friend. Aliwakunywa kwa mrija.
Nisimwone hivi.
Look at you trying to make me blush on the Monday morning.
Aliwakunywa kwa mrija nafikiri.
Feeling miserably.
Si kwa kikombe. Alikuwa mumunya polepole.
Kwa straw bana.
Ati? Ameweka kwa
mrija. Citro.
Kunywa kwa straw. Sio gugudu.
You're very silly.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Kenya's biggest conversation. Yes, CT is back, and you can see we're all excited. Even Ednah was just dancing out there. Ednah, I'm dance. She's just panting. Yeah.
Ni sawa.
Yes. As for me, sisi kama Arsenali. Mambo ni ngapi?
In the dying minutes.
Yani Manchester hawako na chochote sio?
Manchester nani wale bana?
Yo goal ilikuwa imekuja alafu wamesema offside.
And then
Arsenal.
Punde si punde.
Some 1 minute to the end of the match.
Hapo mwenyewe ndani.
2-1 na tukaenda
kulala. Then Jesus came and took them. Ya tatu. Kasafirisha Man U.
Bwana we. Sasa wao wako kule sio?
Wako kule.
Na Arsenal wako hapa sio?
Basi.
Okay. Super Sunday ilikuwa super kweli.
Super. Moto kama pasi. All right, let me tell you what we'll be discussing today. So, on the 25th of August last year, Sakaja Arthur Johnson aliweka Biblia chini hivi. Akasema, Nairobi sijui lazima iwak. Now today he is coming because it's been over a year since he took office as the governor of Nairobi City County. What's working, what's not working, what's he doing, what's he not doing, what does he want to do? Several questions to ask him, and there are very many questions to ask him. We'll be asking about, okay, so you promised to feed school children. We know the Dish in a County program has been publicly launched. How is it doing on the ground? Okay. We have to bring back order into the city of Nairobi. Where is the order? Is the order in garbage collection? Is the order in noisy pubs in our neighborhood? Is the order in revenue collection? How much are you collecting in terms of revenue? Where is the order? Is the order in providing security? No. Where is order? We'll be asking Johnson Arthur Sakaja, the governor of Nairobi, those questions 7 and 8 a.m. today. We'll also, of course, be wanting to hear what questions you'd like us to ask him. So post them on social media, and let's be ready. And then at 9 a.m., let's talk about insecurity and violent extremism in northeastern Kenya, northern Kenya. Columnist, governance and policy analyst Abdullahi Alas is back in Nairobi. He'll come and tell us he went Okoh to go and become an agriculturalist. He's been sending us photos of what he's growing. Akona mboga, matunda,
hata akona mahindi,
tikiti maji. Hata tikiti maji.
Tikiti maji.
Parachichi. Tikiti maji, parachichi, sijui kama amepanda parachichi. Atatuambia kama kuna parachichi shambani mwake.
Watermelon ni gani bana?
Tikiti maji ile tikiti maji ile, kuna tikiti maji. So Abdullahi Alas joins us at 9 a.m. for conversations. Live streaming as usual on YouTube and Facebook. Let's hear from you. If you're online, say hello to CT, say hello to Ndu, say congratulations to Eric and Arsenal, and say good morning to Princess Ndu. 17 minutes after 6.
This is the Situation Room. The only way to start your day.
Monday morning is cloudy in Nairobi at 14, highs of 27, and we'll see highs of 28. In a mostly clear Nakuru at 12. It's 14 and cloudy in Nyeri, highs of 24, and we'll see highs of 25. In a mostly clear Eldoret at 10. 23 and partly cloudy in Mombasa, highs of 29. We'll see highs of 29 as well in a mostly cloudy Malindi, currently at 24. It's 19 and clear in Kisumu, highs of 31, and we'll see highs of 30. In a partly cloudy Kakamega at 17. It's 18 and cloudy in Kampala, highs of 28, and we'll see highs of 30. In a mostly clear Dar es Salaam at 23. It's 15 and clear in Johannesburg, highs of 28 and lows of 14. And Lagos is cloudy at 24. It'll go through highs of 29. 31 will be the high in a mostly cloudy Kinshasa, currently at 24. At 29, Monday afternoon is hazy in Beijing, highs of 32 and lows of 23. Paris is cloudy this morning at 19, highs of 29, and London is cloudy at 16 with highs of 27. At 25 degrees, Sunday night is clear in New York, highs of 32 and lows of 22.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Watu wote. Okay, I'll watch Odhiambo.
Sifu Mungu.
Sifu Mungu.
Watu wote. Viumbe vyote. Awae yote. Sifu Mungu.
Okay. Ali Aweso says good morning. Mbanji says na niliwawon juu ya nini? Manu wamepelekwa binguni, kweli mambo ni matatu. Okay, everybody's on football this morning. John Wakiriani says good morning. Alwacho Odhiambo says good morning. Dennis Mukua is here. Okay, everybody's still on that Arsenal tip. Good morning, Yegon. Good morning, Virginia. Milano wa Essien says good morning. Thomas on DX says, a deserved win. It could have been 5-1. This last night. Oh, they're still talking. Oh, it's 8 hours ago. It's not here. Okay, let's go to the people who are here right now. Kobo from Fangano Island says, be blessed and good morning to you. Don Sabwa, good morning, happy new week. In Malawi, we say, Sabata ino or Mulungu uno kwambiri. Sawa? You just take it like that.
Okay.
Tupac Shakur says, Wananchi mpo.
Wananchi? Wananchi wa pomo.
Sindio. Agri Mamanyi says, good morning, Tereth. Tatu, Mabao Matatu, Alana Tatu. Eric, please read the book of Ezra 7, verse 23. Do you know where Ezra is? Okay. The 2000 says, good morning, good people. Siti Apere, high five on my behalf.
Chukua. Papa.
Thank you very much. Onyango says good morning, all the best in the new week. Asante sana. Jimmy Wekesa says good morning, Team Spice. Looking forward to the conversation in the Situation Room. Always happy to take your name, and I wish you all a blessed week. Allah, are you marrying us? Dismas Omboya says good morning. Hatutaki nyunyu kutoka kwa Eric. Tafadhali. Hakuna soka binguni. Mmesikia? All right. Following from Bonnie Lake, Washington. Good morning to Ednah, Latiff, and CT. Does Eric remember something about 4K clubs? Climate change is here and schools can help us make the difference.
4K was kuungana, kufanya, kusaidia, kujenga. I'm adding another one.
Something.
All of those. And then it ends with Kenya.
Okay. Life is awesome. Says high five. Good morning to you. Elizabeth Kisil is tuned in from Mombasa. Desmond said, good morning. CT, did you lose or win?
Win or lose whom?
Tell them every day we win, no matter what.
Every day we win.
No matter what.
No matter what.
Thank you very much.
This thing that we have.
Jao Nahashon says good morning. Tuning from Alberta, Canada. The Dawn. Good morning. Spice tuning from Mombasa. May this month be full of laughter. Indeed. Amen. Ricardo Mariera says good morning, kings and queens. He's got it. Now he has got it. Tuned in from Kitengela. Eric Owar says, good morning, welcome back, CT. Emmanuel Emuragat says, good morning, Spice FM, locked in from Imara Daima. Blessed week, guys. Ndu Eric and CT Hamjambo. Good morning from Delaware. Mambo Bado ni Matatu, no turning back. Welcome back, CT, says Abdi Ibrahim. Kobo from Fangano Island. Don Sabwa again. Jamia Ayub says Ze Zembuzeo from Matuga Kwale. Karibu Mze City Muga. I like the way he has spelled Muga. King Dave says, good morning, Papa CT. While you were away, mambo haya kuwa matatu tena. Tulibaki na mbili. Eric Nandu. Sebit Yusuf says, good morning, everybody. Wishing you a wonderful day. Peter Mora is tuning from Kanunga. Kanunga.
Please.
That's all I can remember when I hear his name. Hello from Sacramento, California, from Nzengus. Okay. Bash Kalas is tuned in from Nairobi. Patrick Osoro says Hamjambo tuned in from Koru. I'm not sure where Eddie Award disappeared to, but Koru is A-OK. In fact, where did he go? Michael Sawanga says good morning from Zanzibar. As a private citizen, people are asking questions to Sakaja already. Ruth Karenge says good morning, tuned in. German teacher says good morning from Parklands, and good morning to you all. Gerald Bugwa says from Atlanta.
Karibuni Kilamutu. City?
Yes.
We were done with South African proverbs last week.
Yes, when I'm in Gabon.
Gabon.
You know, one of the things that I had time to do was read a little more than I normally do. And I try to read light literature, like literature pertaining to coups.
Light.
Yes.
Light reading.
But light weaponry.
You see, it has happened. So the anticipation isn't there. The strangest thing, though, about these coups that we've seen since 2020, with the exception of what we see happening in Sudan, all these coup leaders are young.
Yes.
And none of them senior. Previous coups involved generals. And the thing about previous coups that we had on this continent, they were bloody. People died. People were thrown into disarray. There's a lot of disruption. These ones have a very funny characteristic to them. They seem popular.
They are. They are.
This is the thing. They seem popular. It's like people are relieved and say, phew, thank God.
Like, yes.
We were waiting for somebody to do it.
And not many people die, really. So they're even being called bloodless coups. But we'll talk about them more as the days go by, won't we?
Oh, yes, we will.
All right. Gabon, otherwise known as officially the Gabonese Republic.
Okay.
Gabonese what?
Republic.
Republic. Capital is called Libreville. Yes.
Make some noise.
Fourth richest country in Africa.
Richest in terms of what?
In natural resources.
In terms of GDP?
Yes, GDP also. No.
Or per capita?
Per capita.
Okay.
Yes, because it produces money, but that money, by and large, doesn't really find its way down. It
finds its way somewhere, but doesn't stay in the country.
Yes, but it also doesn't get itself attached to the people who need it most.
Exactly.
And they're the majority. Part of the problem and the popularity of some of these coups, okay? All right. He who is free of fault will never die.
He who is free of fault will never die. Okay.
This one I found particularly interesting. Particularly.
In the context of the country.
In the context of life and the country. Because there is no one who's free of life. So it also means there is no one
who will never die.
Yes.
Okay, that's a good one. Headlines, please.
Headlines on the front page of the Standard. Africa's big gamble. It's a climate question. Today, presidents and heads of government are supposed to come up with climate change resolutions that, among other things, will ensure the continent, there's missing an article there, gets compensation for the crisis. However, this is not the first time leaders are pushing for a financing deal. Will the talks yield results? That's the big question as the climate summit opens in Nairobi today. The Africa Climate Summit, not just any other. What else is happening? Western governors in trouble over president's tour. Trouble why? We'll find out. Raila mocks Ruto climate change talks. He said something about that. Bongo's reign continues after coup. You want to know about that? We'll give you more details. There's an interesting one here. Researchers make HIV breakthrough using a cancer drug.
Allah?
And the Cityland row has been resolved after 36 years.
What?
36 years.
36 years.
The wheels of justice turn slowly, but they turn. On the front page of The Nation as well, climate, the grim reality. President William Ruto.
Right.
President who? President William Ruto. A light from an electric car, his resplendent color there. Driven to the KICC yesterday from State House. He drove it himself through the CBD. At the closing ceremony of the Youth Africa Climate Change Summit. So the closing ceremony, the Youth Africa Climate Summit happened, a couple of days ago, closed yesterday, and in preparation for the Africa Climate Summit, which happens today. From rising temperatures to extreme weather events, our Earth is no longer safe, and even more so, the inhabitants of the global South. Will the African and world leaders converging in Nairobi this week find solutions for these and other emerging crises? That is the question. Will this actually bear fruit? There's a question about who's next in line after Raila's exit. Did he go somewhere? But I guess in preparation for what happens later, why the opposition chief may be on his way out. All right, headlines.
It's actually just come out boldly and say he is on his way out. It's definite.
A couple of things happening here. Young anti-plastic pollution champion to address the summit. That's going to happen today in the name of 10-year-old Nigel Waweru. I've heard of him. He's done some interesting things. Foreign banks fueling climate crisis in Africa. That's a funding question. Pakistan Prime Minister cancels a planned visit to Kenya. After having confirmed that he would come, he's now saying, I'm not coming. We'll look at the details as to why.
Okay.
And on the back page of The Nation, I will bounce back. Former world champion Korir says after dismal show in Budapest.
Okay. Business Daily. The big headline in the Business Daily is how Kenya, Kura inflated prices for 26 road projects. Kenya's road agencies, including the Kenya National Highways Authority, are on the spot for supervising cost overruns for at least 26 road projects and overshooting their budgets by more than 20 billion shillings, leading to a spike in pending bills. An analysis of official data from the Transport Ministry by the Business Daily is revealing that between 2007 and 2017, at least 26 projects had cost overruns. Though the law allows for some price variation, the fact that a significant number of the projects overshot their budgets raises questions on the quality of budgeting that has seen them fail the requirement that projects should be completed within the time, budget and scope. These overruns have culminated into a build-up of pending bills, currently estimated at 145 billion shilling for road projects alone. It's a quarter of the government's total pending bills by Kenya and Kura.
Where?
Imagine. The other headline, global banks are fueling Africa climate crisis. There's a report as delegates from different African countries converge in Nairobi for the inaugural Africa Climate Summit. A new report has shown how banks outside the continent are financing projects that are fueling the climate crisis. This report is dubbed How the Finance Flows, the Banks Fueling the Climate Crisis, shows that every year 11 banks from Europe, the Americas and Asia are pumping in money to finance such projects 20 times more than they do for climate solutions on the continent. So they're just financing what? Climate crisis.
Climate crisis.
All right. Ticker headlines. How state-backed chronic illnesses fund will ease pain for diabetes cancer patients. This special fund that's to be set up once we do away with one NHIF and set up 3 funds under it. That's for the treatment of chronic illnesses in a bid to save patients from out-of-pocket payments when they deplete their medical cover and ease pressure on the National Health Insurance Scheme. Kenya Power to pay 6 million shillings to a company for fire losses.
Where?
The High Court has ordered Kenya Power to pay manufacturing firm Serapak Products 5.9 million shillings after a suspected electric fault caused a fire that burnt the company's business premises 10 years ago. Yeah, the sticker headline, KRA loses 1.3 billion shillings tax claim against Bidco.
What?
Hiya, City. Do you have the Star?
I do have the Star.
Do you have the East African?
I have the East African.
Very good.
It's good?
Yes.
All right. Top right-hand corner in teal green. Seek to motivate. Determination, passion, and hard work drove me to apex. That is Senator Mutinda. That's the story on page 8. The nominated senator has been in the studio a couple of times. Very clear spoken, very clearly articulated points of view. That's her. Now, on the left-hand corner, the small headlines, COP28, Kenya likely to become Africa's spokesperson. This is according to Adnan Z. Amin, a Kenyan who is a development economist. Actually, other papers say Kenyan born, but anyway, he is a development economist, and he is part and parcel of this climate change thingamajig, and has held very many senior positions in the UN, and was the founding director of the International Renewable Energy Agency in 2011 to 2019.
All right.
The story about this land in Nakuru Njenga also features in The Star. It's a battle since 1987. It's amazing. All the people who are squatting there claiming and wanting compensation for land which didn't belong to them in the first place. Or did it?
That's a question that was to be determined by the court.
And the court determined it didn't. Right? Double edge. Major gamble could change Kenya for better or worse. Goodness. All the choices are included here. Better or worse. It's good. It's nice. It's comprehensive reporting. Housing tax, NHIF law could make or break Ruto's rule. Really? I personally don't think so. But who's to tell? Now then, there's a picture of all these green-looking bicycles. They're not green in color, but they're green. Yes, they're renewable energy, motorbikes, bicycles, etc., etc. Even the odd vehicle that looks like a yellow matchbox, the one which President Ruto was driving in. The electric vehicles are with us, like it or not.
They're here.
They are here, and they're here to stay. Stay. Right. The East African EA block in new push to keep out Mitumba imports. Uganda, Kenya taking after Rwanda, which effected the ban, a decision fraught with political and economic repercussions. Story on page 4. This battle is one of the longest battles in this country. It happened in the Moi era. It's every presidential era except probably President Kenyatta's era. There's been the issue of Mitumba. Back and forth and back and forth, and it will not stop. But let us continue. DR Congo's unwanted peace missions. Authorities in the Democratic Republic of Congo blame radical groups for fueling protests against peacekeepers. You know this story? This one requires an entire hour to discuss.
It does.
I think let's bring some of these people who are experts in some of these regional conflicts, come and explain these matters to us, because there's a back and forth about it that's difficult to understand. Then there's this delightful picture of President William Ruto riding an electric motorbike. That is a good picture, but the real picture is the guy running behind him.
He's also electric.
No, he doesn't have a choice, he has to be electric.
Okay, 25 to 7. Do tell us about traffic, then we look at these stories in detail.
This is the Situation Room. The only way to start your
right,
day.
So what are we looking at? Traffic on the Thika Superhighway is heavy. It's coming in all the way from Survey, heavy bumper to bumper through towards the Pangani underpass. And we're also looking at it then piling up on Kiambu Road this morning. Coming out of Westlands, we'll see some movement here and there. And also on Huru Highway from the Nyeri Stadium roundabout out towards the CBD and then into Westlands. There is movement there. Also looking at Jogo Road. Busy around the Makadara train station, heading out towards City Stadium roundabout, you'll be fine. We're seeing some movement on Landis Road, heading out towards the Kamkunji roundabout. The Eastern Bypass looks all right for now. We'll come back and take a look at North Airport Road going towards the Eastern Bypass and Outer Ring Junction. But for now, it looks like we're not doing too badly on Monday morning. Let's talk in the meantime on Spice FM KE on X.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
The questions are, what is going to happen after these climate talks? The questions that are being asked, or rather expected outputs. According to President Ruto, we have an opportunity to lead the world and show that we can industrialize and prosper and achieve this in a sustainable manner. Because that has always been the question. Are you going to step on the necks of those who are trying to develop today, all in the name of climate preservation? And so he's saying, look, we can do all of these things at the same time. And for those of you who are trying to say that we should not develop at this rate or in this manner, guess what? There's a solution. There's a formula for this thing. And how about Africa be the one that would lead this? African leaders in the Nairobi Declaration on a Green Growth and Climate Finance Agenda and Solutions for Africa and the World. That's one of the expected outputs. A pathway to a new global financial deal that includes at scale and fit-for-purpose financing instruments to serve specific growth goals. There's also expected to be investment commitments, including showcasing multi-billion-dollar worth of green investment deals on the continent. There's also announcements of tangible progress on ongoing major continent-wide and global initiatives and new partnerships, as well as a roadmap for the implementation of key declarations. Because I think there have been many, many years of just declarations, but the implementation has always been wanting. The monkey on the back. So that's what they're hoping for. The story that's on page 4 talks about high stakes for the continent as the African Climate Summit starts. What then will come out of this? A continent that emits less than 4% of global greenhouse gases finds itself on the front lines of the climate crisis, from devastating droughts to escalating desertification and the increasing frequency of cyclones. Whether you look at desertification in the north, in the center, whether you look at cyclones in the south, Africa is getting hit left, right, and center. All right. The 3-day summit themed Driving Green Growth and the Climate Finance Solutions for Africa and the World, organized by the African Union Commission in collaboration with Kenya, is expected to chart a path for more than 900 million people. President William Ruto has articulated the unified African voice on the global stage, affirming that the continent is prepared to provide leadership and contribute to global efforts to decarbonize. So that's what the talks are going to be. But then again, the hope that is that this summit will not just be talks. It will not be people coming to Nairobi for 3 days and faffing about what they want to see, but actually going back from this summit and implementing some of the things that we actually have been discussing.
There's still that disquiet among civil society organizations and non-governmental organizations, non-state actors, so to call them, who are still rambling about the organization of this conference, that they say non-state actors have been left on the sidelines of this particular conversation. They are not actually being considered. So what's happening? Why is the conversation not including them? It's going to be some drama around it.
It will be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah.
But it's actually a useful platform to have drama. Because all the focus on the summit and all the continental leaders who are there, when you appear with them, you will be able to gobble up some of that limelight as well.
Yes.
So if you're talking about opportunity, this sort of opportunity doesn't come around very often.
This is a big one.
No, it's a big one. So if they want their voices heard and they've seen the opportunity, please take the opportunity, because it will not come again soon.
They always have to have this, Kennedy. I mean, what is the voice of the non-state actors in these international conversations?
But is it not a valid point they're making?
It is. I think also that this summit, if you look at it, it's the heads of African government who are coming together, and they're saying that there must be something that they do collectively, and that's why the African Union has come together. But at the same time, they do it collectively, but they then go back to their individual countries, whereby they steer and guide policy to make sure that certain things happen on a government level. As heads of state, it's about time that they took the responsibility. Non-state actors have been involved in this conversation for decades. Non-state actors have pushed the conversation.
Non-state actors are the ones who have lent fire to this particular discussion.
So the question is, when you were at the helm or when you were steering this thing, what did you do with it? Now African governments, presidents are saying, okay guys, we actually have to see how we're going to be able to steer the ship. And I think There's nothing wrong with that.
Do you think
they
this
can be part of the conversation, but to ask to steer the thing anymore? No, I don't think.
Do you think this conversation now sort of like grew wings once the discussion around reparations now became heated up?
Yeah, $100 billion.
Those possibility of money.
There's a possibility, yes, because yes, all the suffering, all the problems
that our African heads of state have
endured from their thankless citizens. Yes, a little compensation would help at least soothe that particular. Okay.
So there's